Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm here with Jordan Glatt and Mayor Fagan, and we're here today to talk to you about a program that we're launching called Summit Speaks. The purpose of this show is to give the residents of Summit an opportunity to meet some special people who make our community the special place that it is. Before we get into introducing Mayor Elizabeth Fagan, Summit's 30th mayor, there are a couple of things we'd like to share with you about the Other Fellow First Foundation. The Other Fellow First Foundation's been around for almost 25 years. Our world headquarters is the Summit Diner. We have a simple mission. Our goal is to help New Jersey families, mostly Summit families, who find themselves in distress. Our history for the last 24 and a half years suggests that we've raised and given away about $7 million, all into the Summit community. And we managed to help people who have difficulty paying funeral expenses, paying the rent, have family medical issues that require mom and dad to move their families to a town where there's a specialist doctor, but it's not in Summit, so they have to stay for a couple of weeks. We've helped a couple of young men in town who required heart transplants, and we put a team together to assist them with their legal complications, raising money, putting a trust together. So we've done a lot of different things over the last 25 years, all of which would not be possible without the generous support of the people of Summit. Tonight, we're going to be showcasing somebody who fulfills all of the requirements that make Summit a special place. Our mayor, Mayor Elizabeth Fagan, and she will be introduced by the 27th mayor, Jordan Glatt, who's the president of the Other Fellow First Foundation. I'm the founder, but he's the boss. And with that, I'd like to turn the program over to Jordan.
So I have the honor to have Mayor Fagan with us today. So I'm looking at her bio, and if I read all the volunteer work she's done in this town, we only have a half hour, and I'm not sure I could get through it. But just some highlights. She was president of the Board of Health, very involved in the Summit Women's Lacrosse Association. She's worked for the Junior League at the Santa Claus shop. She's at the same time, she's been a local physician in town, 20 years living in the community, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your family, because that's always so important in that role.
It is. I have 4 children. I married my college sweetheart, and my oldest son just graduated from UNC Chapel Hill last May. My daughter is at University of Pennsylvania, and she's a sophomore, just finished her sophomore year, actually. My third is a senior at Summit High School, and she is heading off to University of Michigan to play lacrosse and to study neuroscience. And then my youngest is a freshman in high school, and he's actually at the Union County VOTEC School at AIT, which is the Academy for Information Technology. And the benefit of that is that he still gets to be a hilltopper when it comes to sports. So he swam for the high school with his older sister this year, and he's playing lacrosse. And then we also have my baby, Touchdown, is my 9-year-old yellow lab.
Touchdown, what a great name.
Yeah. Sounds like a busy life.
It is a busy life, but very fulfilling.
Sure.
So what was the magnet of Summit, New Jersey that brought you and your family here?
So we came here in 2001, and we came because I did my residency at Overlook. I was in the Overlook Family Medicine Residency Program. And that's the short version. The longer version is when I came to do my interview, I really liked the people and the hospital. And then when I came back a second time to do a second look, I got to go into town. And I remember sitting at Starbucks with the resident that I was spending the day with. And we sat in these big comfy chairs looking out the big glass window at town and all the people and the charm of, and then it started snowing. So it was like a fairy tale. So that was, and I just fell in love. And I thought it was a good place to stay for 3 years, and we've been here 23. So.
That's terrific.
Good for us.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask the same question that I was asked. What in God's name caused you to run for mayor?
I've spent my life serving people and taking care of people, and I've spent the last 20 plus years being involved in this community, and it's a really, really special place, as you both know. I mean, I'm sitting here with two of the pillars of Summit, and so you're very well aware of what a spectacular community this is. And I just wanted to give back as much as I could, and this was sort of the next, I don't know if it was a natural progression from boosters and lacrosse and the Y and the connection, but it was something I hadn't done yet.
As my wife said, couldn't you have just coached Little League or something?
Yeah, I know. Well, my husband looks at me and thinks the same thing. He's like, how about coaching flag football or something like that?
You know, a lot of our viewers, I'm sure, are curious about what is the job of the mayor. Could you give our viewers an idea of some of the things that the mayor does in
Can
town?
you ask Jordan that question? I'm still new here. No. So, I sort of think of the mayor as kind of the face of the town, so outwardly with neighboring communities. I'm sort of the place where people look if they're trying to find out find out information or collaborate. For instance, one of the New Providence Council people reached out to me about their mental health awareness month campaign, and so it's just they were looking to partner with Summit and Berkeley Heights to kind of connect Springfield Avenue in the month of May for mental health awareness, and then really fun things I get to do: marrying people in City Hall, cutting ribbons, breaking ground for new businesses. And just interacting with the community. So one of the first things I got to do, I think, was Read Across America week or month or whatever, and I got to go into the elementary schools and see the kids and read to the children. So those are the fun things. And then obviously playing a role in what council is doing and the direction that council moves in terms of what initiatives are important. And trying to be a voice for the community.
Does the police department report to you?
Yes, sir.
I see. So you're a very important person in that
I
regard,
don't know
too.
about that, but
So what's a typical day like as mayor in Summit?
so that's a trick question, right, Jordan?
There is no
There is
typical-
no typical day. Every day is different, which makes it interesting and exciting. But I do have office hours Monday 9 to 11 a.m. and Wednesdays 10 to 12. And I try to be in the office every day for at least a portion of the day.
At City Hall.
At City Hall, yeah. And so it depends on what's going on in town. But, I answer emails, answer phone calls, meet with the city staff. So I spend a lot of time with Michael Rogers and our city clerk and Amy Cairns, our chief communications officer. And on Mondays I make a video, Mondays with the mayor, which is always fun. Sometimes it's fluffy and light, and sometimes it's touching on issues that we're talking about in council.
And so if a resident wants to catch up with you, what's the best way to, other than Dunkin' Donuts?
Other than Dunkin' Donuts. So my email is efagan@cityofsummit.org, and I'm fairly responsive. If somebody sends me an email and I don't get back right away, I encourage them to reach out again via email, or they can call the office. and leave a voicemail. And I try to get back as quickly as I can. I mean, it's 24 to 48 hours, hopefully. Some days and weeks are more difficult than others, as you, I'm sure, remember.
So after 5 months now, what's been the biggest surprise?
I think I was actually speaking with Brett earlier. I think that the biggest surprise is how much of an impact and how quickly you can make an impact as a new mayor. So it's been really exciting, and I think that's probably the biggest thing. That and the number of evening events I have to go to. Number of nights I don't get to put my pajamas on until after 9 o'clock.
Yeah. What about when you're 16, the thought of being 21 seems like an eternity, and then it becomes your 21st birthday, and you can buy a drink, and you're an adult. So you're 5 months into this job, and you've got another 3.5 years to go. Do you have any sort of goals or hopes that at the conclusion of your first term you will have accomplished? Are there some goals that you have?
I mean, I think generally I want to be sure to listen to the community and be reflective of what the community holds to be important. And I want to make sure that I'm perceived as fair, and not just perceived, but truly, sincerely, be a fair judge and a fair representative of what's important in this town. And I think that that's probably the biggest thing.
Okay.
Just helping us progress forward, be sure that we're fiscally responsible, and that that if there's something that's important to the community, that we try to help get it done.
Good.
What do you see as the challenges facing the community today?
This is a pop quiz. Wait a minute. So I think one of the things that I hold really dear about Summit is that I've sort of described it as a place where neighbors help neighbors and take care of one another, and I think that there's been some I don't want to say division, but sort of noise, and I would love to quiet the noise, and I think it's a challenge, because I think it's unfortunately national politics have dripped down into our sweet, wonderful, quiet town, and so I'd like to see sort of a unity and bring the community together and bring us all along towards a common goal of keeping Summit terrific and making it even better.
So in your 5 months on the job, we've had the opportunity to work with you in addressing sort of a spontaneous problem that surfaced. Could you tell our audience a little about how that problem surfaced, how you became aware of it,
Sure.
and how the three of us collaborated to address that?
Of course. So I actually was walking into Dunkin' Donuts one day, and I ran into somebody that I've known sort of peripherally, just as an acquaintance, because he's often in Dunkin' Donuts too. And he is a crossing guard in town and has been for a long time. And he came up to me and he said, "Excuse me, Mayor, I'm about to lose my house." And I looked at him and I was like, "Oh, gee, first of all, why do you know that I'm the mayor? But second of all," and he said, I'm about to be evicted and I don't have anywhere to go." And I looked at him and I said, "Well, I have a couple of people I can call. Where can I get in touch with you?" And he said, "Well, I don't have a phone, but I work here and I work, as a crossing guard." And so I said, "Okay, well, let me think on this. Let me pick up the phone and make a few phone calls, and I'll find you." And so I called you, Brett, and you were gracious enough to listen to the story and ask me to sort of describe what it was that he was looking for. And with the help of one of the neighbors, adjacent to where he works, she actually helped him find a new location to live. And then it was just a question of how was he going to pay for it. And so then that was where Other Fellow First Foundation came in and supported his rent. And it was really, he's so grateful. And I've seen him since, and he looks fantastic, and he has a new spring in his step. It's really, really a tremendous feeling to know that, that you guys are here to help something like that really alleviate what could have been a really traumatic situation for him. So.
Well, thank you for that story, and that's kind of a fitting way to wrap this up. The story that the mayor just shared is a story that is difficult for us to bump into, and so there are very important people in town who are folks that people in trouble seek out. They could be teachers, they could be the chief of police, they could be the fire department, they could be anybody who is in a position of some conspicuous authority. And the way we work is to make those folks know that when such a problem surfaces, we're a very small organization. There's 8 trustees. There are no committees. The meetings last about 5 minutes on the phone.
Unless there are eggs involved.
And then we try to respond very, very quickly, because we've learned that when people are in trouble, the first dollar that shows up to help them is often the most important dollar. So the reason for this show, this Summit Speaks, is to share some of these anecdotes with the community, to provide effectively a safety net, an insurance policy for the less advantaged, people who have a problem. Frank Sinatra reminds us that it's not how high you fly that counts, it's how high you bounce, and all of us have good days and bad. Our goal is to try to help people who are having a tough time on a particular day get back on their feet. So I want to thank you, Mayor, for making your story known to us.
Thank you for having me.
The mayor's story will be on community TV, and then will be on our website over the next couple of years. We'd like to have a couple of dozen of these interviews so that the viewing audience will have a chance to effectively have a beer or a coffee with somebody that they'd really like to know but don't have a chance. So thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day.